Examine your house around. Is everything actually organized, or have you simply become accustomed to the mess? We all save things for years, whether they are sentimental mementos, old presents, or things we might use in the future. In actuality, though, a lot of these things are subtly making our houses feel small and overburdened. Today, we're revealing 19 items that, without your knowledge, clutter your home, and more importantly, how to get rid of them guilt-free and stress-free. This is where the surprise lies. Nearly everyone believes they should save one item, but in reality, it's making their house feel messier than ever. Find out what it is by reading through to the end. The mess you're not even aware of. The 74-year-old Helen always thought her house was cozy and filled with memories. However, one day she came to a realization while looking for a crucial document. Her once cozy house felt overcrowded, intimidating, and challenging to get about. She wasn't by herself. Many elderly people unwittingly keep items that subtly add to clutter. Let's examine 3 typical offenders and their solutions. 1. Stacks of outdated documents when, just in case, they get to be too much. Helen had saved all of her greeting cards, receipts, and medical bills. Finding anything was a problem because her shelves were bursting at the seams and her desk drawers were jammed full. Why it's an issue? Paper heaps cause stress and draw dust. It is more difficult to locate the documents that are truly important when they are outdated. The solution: set aside 30 minutes per week to organize your paperwork. Save just the most important documents such as tax returns, medical data, and court documents. For convenient access, scan critical documents and store them on a cloud storage account or USB drive. Anything out of date or superfluous should be shredded. This became a weekly habit for one of Helen's friends, who shredded old papers while enjoying her favorite jazz tunes. Decluttering can be fun. Who knew? 2. Duplicate or unused kitchenware. It's not always better to have more. 3 blenders, a set of mugs she seldom used, and 5 frying pans filled Helen's kitchen. It wasn't until she attempted to arrange her cabinets that she realized how much room they were taking up. Why it's an issue? Meal preparation is made more difficult by having too much equipment and utensils. You can't find what you really need in crowded cabinets. The solution: apply the rule of 1 year. It's time to go with it if you haven't used it in a year. Only 1 or 2 of each necessary item should be kept. 1 dependable blender and 1 decent skillet. The remainder should be given to a community center or charity where they will be put to good use. After deciding to give her old slow cooker, 78-year-old Margaret discovered she had more counter space than she had anticipated. 3. Furnishings that you inherited but no longer use. Helen inherited a flowered sofa from her aunt and a large oak china cabinet from her mother. She kept them out of remorse, but she never used them. Why it's an issue? Rooms that have large, unused furniture feel claustrophobic and challenging to move about. The memory of loved ones is not honored when items are kept out of guilt. The solution: change the way you think. The memory is not necessarily retained when an item is kept. Before discarding treasured items, snap a picture of them. Give heirlooms to relatives who will genuinely use and value them. In the end, Helen gave her niece her mother's cabinet, which she treasured. Her house felt more airy, calm, and controllable all of a sudden. Helen noticed a significant improvement after eliminating just these 3 sources of clutter. She wasn't finished yet either. Things that subtly give the impression that your house is small. Which would you choose to call home? Unknowingly, a lot of us keep items that make our homes appear smaller than they actually are. These are 3 typical offenders. 4. Bookshelves that are overstuffed. Do you have many books on your shelves that you haven't read in years? Perhaps it's time to let someone else enjoy a book that you haven't opened in more than 10 years. Answer: make a donation to the community center, school, or library in your area. Only the books you genuinely enjoy and plan to read again should be kept. To add freshness to the shelf, make room for ornamental accents like a tiny plant or a framed picture. 5. Outdated or pointless ornaments. Examine your surroundings. Do any of the decorations in your house no longer appeal to you or represent your personal style? Even though that framed piece of art was created 30 years ago, does it still bring you joy? Answer: Keep only things that make you feel good or inspired. Replace outdated ornaments with ones that are more contemporary or have greater meaning. Instead of using several little items, think about updating your room with a single statement piece. 6. Closet. That is too full. What percentage of the items in your closet are actually worn? It's merely taking up room if you haven't worn it in more than a year. Answer. Apply the rule of 1 year. Donate it if you haven't worn it in a year. To make more room in your daily closet, store seasonal clothing separately. To make dressing easier and to save only the things you really adore, arrange by category and color. Losing items is not the goal of decluttering. It's about having more room, tranquility, and a home that seems airy and inviting. Clutter that adds weight and disarray to your house. Sometimes a home feels cluttered without being visibly messy, and you might not even be aware of it. Some things occupy mental as well as physical space. These items build up over time, giving your house a cluttered, tense, and even antiquated atmosphere. Let's examine some unexpected causes that may be causing problems in your house and discover solutions. 7. Too many sentimental objects. That pile of old birthday cards, vacation mementos, and childhood mementos could appear innocuous without a specific spot. However, they become clutter if they are left strewn all over the place. Why it's an issue? Makes spaces appear disorganized and overpowering. When sentimental objects are combined with commonplace clutter, their worth decreases. You can't fully appreciate these riches because of dust and chaos. The solution: make a memory box. Select a pretty storage container to hold your most treasured possessions. Turn sentimental items around. To keep the area interesting, rotate them seasonally rather than putting them all on exhibit at once. Digitize antique photographs and writings. To preserve your mementos without taking up physical space, scan them. Alice, a friend of mine, used to have a whole wardrobe full of her kids' schoolwork from decades ago. She was able to organize a whole room while maintaining those priceless memories by scanning the most significant ones and retaining only a handful of the originals. Pathways are blocked by large furnishings. Even though your heavy oak armoires, ornamental side chairs, or large coffee table were ideal years ago, they now take up more room than they should. Why it's an issue? Obstructs the room's flow, making it harder to walk around. Can pose a risk to safety, particularly for elderly people who have mobility issues. Makes even a large house feel crowded and disorganized. The solution: reduce the size of any extra furnishings. An object that is infrequently used can be worth donating or selling. Choose furniture with several uses. Sofa beds, collapsible tables, and storage ottomans can all assist conserve room. Reorganize the design. By carefully positioning furniture, you may open up walkways and provide the impression of additional space. I know a senior named Tom who has a big old china cabinet in his dining room. It only collected dust and hadn't been opened in years. His dining room felt immediately larger and cozier when he gave it to his granddaughter and replaced it with a modern bookcase that only contained the necessities. The 9th, the corner where garbage is stored. That continues to expand. Perhaps it's a chair in the bedroom, a table in the corridor, or a whole closet that has gradually become a catch-all area. Why it's an issue? More clutter is drawn to clutter. If you throw one object there, you'll throw more. Even if the rest of the room is neat, these areas give off an air of chaos and tension. Frequently turns into an abandoned landfill for items with no apparent function. The solution: create a system. Every object in the house needs a specific location. Every week, declutter. Make a note to clear this area on Sundays. Make use of storage boxes, trays, or baskets. Giving little things a home keeps them from accumulating haphazardly. On a side table near her front entrance, Helen, a retired teacher, would frequently throw unopened mail. The stack eventually expanded to include various papers, magazines, and catalogs. She eventually took back her area after adding a tiny mail organizer and resolving to sort mail every day. 10. Things that are never needed but are just in case. Stacks of old magazines, that assortment of empty jars, or those additional sets of bedding you haven't used in years. A lot of people hoard items because they may need them in the future. Why it's an issue? Space that could be allocated for things you truly use is taken up by rarely required stuff. Makes people feel burdened instead than convenient. These things eventually create unseen clutter that is more difficult to manage. The solution: set a deadline for yourself. It's time to part with it if you haven't used it in 2 years. Establish boundaries. Don't keep a whole stockpile. Just 1 or 2 backup things. Give extras. Your unused items can be donated to community centers, schools, or shelters. George, a retired handyman, kept scrap wood in his garage for use in future projects. He gave the majority of it to a nearby community workshop after realizing he had barely used it in years, helping others and creating space. Unused or broken tools for gardening, accumulating. The heaps of empty flower pots, the rusty shears, the broken watering can, they are merely taking up space if they are not helping you. Why it's an issue: causes needless clutter in patios, garages, and sheds. Makes it more difficult to locate the tools you really use. Certain objects can become dangerous if they are left laying around. The solution: only keep tools that are in working order. It's time to let go of anything that hasn't been fixed in a year and is broken. Make use of vertical storage. Shelves and wall hooks are useful for organizing gardening materials. Give away additional tools. Neighbors or community gardeners may find them useful. John, an 80-year-old who loves gardening, discovered that he only ever used one of his 4 pairs of pruning shears. His tool shed was considerably easier to manage when he gave the extras to pals. Chapter 12. Presents. You feel bad about throwing away that ornamental vase that doesn't go with your style, the outfit that never fits, or the device you never opened. You feel compelled to keep them even though you didn't purchase them. Why it's an issue: takes up room that could be used and loved by other things. Gives something emotional weight by preventing it from being done out of joy or guilt. These things can accumulate and cause clutter over time. The solution: let go and let yourself to relax. Present should make you happy, not guilty. Give again. Sell the item or donate it. It might be genuinely appreciated by someone else. Only the items that fit your current lifestyle should be kept. Not simply memories, but your wants and style should be reflected in your home. Senior Sarah discovered she never used the dozens of ornamental candles she had accumulated over the years. She was immediately relieved and gave the majority to a community center, saving only a few favorites. When combined, these clutter-causing factors can make your house feel claustrophobic, disorganized, and less pleasurable. You may make a space that seems lighter, more useful, and accurately represents who you are now by addressing each area one at a time. Begin by addressing only one of these issues. Which will you start with? Please share your strategies for letting go guilt-free in the comments section below. The physical labor of decluttering isn't the most difficult aspect of the process. It's our sentimental attachment to our possessions. Items that remind them of loved ones, memories, or just-in-case scenarios are why many seniors keep things. The good news? Creating a clutter-free house doesn't require erasing memories. Here are some guilt-free and considerate decluttering tips. Keep only the things that are used and very important. Nothing is special if everything is. Selecting the things that actually improve your life is essential to meaningful decluttering. Do I always feel pleased when I view or use this object, you ask? Did I use it during the last 12 months? If I lost it, would I miss it? The fix don't keep complete collections, just the most memorable and heartfelt pieces. It's time to reevaluate where something belongs in your house if it is gathering dust. Permit yourself to let rid of things that are no longer useful to you. Janet, one of my friends, had a whole cabinet filled with teacups that she never used. She chose her 3 favorites and gave the others to a women's shelter rather than keeping them all. She no longer feels guilty about storing and used things and can now appreciate the people she loves. Take pictures to preserve memories rather than preserving every item. Objects can carry memories, but you don't have to preserve everything to remember those times. Why it works. A digital photo retains its sentimental significance while taking up no space. You can make a digital scrapbook or album that you can go through at any time. Seeing the object in a picture can have the same impact as actually owning it. The fix before discarding sentimental belongings: Take a photo of them. Make a digital or physical memory album to look back on memorable times. Write a brief letter explaining its significance and give it to someone who will value it if it's a family heirloom. I know a retired Navy veteran who has a wardrobe full of vintage outfits and souvenirs. He framed his medals, took pictures of his collection, and gave the remainder to a nearby museum rather than retaining it all. He made room while preserving the memories. To keep sentimental goods under control, use a memory box. It's acceptable to preserve sentimental stuff, but only in moderation. Why it works? It lets you treasure memories without taking up too much room in your home. Prevents mementos from becoming dispersed clutter by giving them a special place. Urges you to choose carefully what is genuinely important. The fix: select a box for sentimental things, or several if necessary. Before adding anything further, take stock of the situation once the box is full. Something else leaves if something new enters. Instead of letting the box gather dust, keep it somewhere easily accessible so you can enjoy browsing through it. Margaret, a 5-time grandma, used to save all of her birthday cards. For the more significant ones, she now has a single ornamental box. She goes over them year and eliminates those that don't feel unique, leaving only her favorites. To avoid buildup, create a decluttering timetable. Decluttering is a continuous process. It is a continuous procedure. Why it works? It keeps things from piling up again, makes decluttering feel manageable rather than overwhelming, and helps you maintain control over your space rather than allowing clutter to creep back in. The fix: set a reminder to declutter a small area each month. Conduct a thorough home review every 6 months, and consider whether you still need certain items after walking through your house. Decluttering should be treated like regular upkeep, much like cleaning or money management. I know a retired educator who adheres to a straightforward guideline. She donates anything she didn't wear the year before whenever she changes her clothes for the new season. She remains 17 because of this habit. A cluttered home can feel overpowering, but an open, airy area feels inviting and tranquil. Create an open space for a quieter, more serene home. The fix: keep surfaces as clear as possible. Limit decorations on tables, counters, and shelves. Arrange furniture to create an open, flowing layout. Leave space in closets and cabinets rather than stuffing them full. Reduce clutter, ease, and stress. Make it easier to clean and move around safely, and help you focus on what really brings you joy. One senior I worked with, Helen, had a habit of stuffing every shelf with trinkets. She purposefully left several shelves bare after decluttering and only saved a handful of her favorite items. The outcome? Her house felt more spacious, airy, and tranquil. 18. Review everything in your house on a regular basis. Your needs and way of life evolve with time. You might no longer need the items that seemed reasonable to keep 10 years ago. The fix: every 6 months. Take a walk around your house and examine every item with new eyes. This will help you appreciate the things you really love by eliminating distractions. It also encourages you to keep your home functional and in line with your current life. Would I buy this again today, you ask? Otherwise, think about letting it go. Keep an eye out for anything new that enters your house. Don't bring in more clutter to replace the things you've cleared out. I was told by a woman named Susan that she felt relieved after reducing. For the first time, I feel like my home is a reflection of my current existence rather than my former one. Getting rid of everything isn't the goal of decluttering. It's about creating room for the important things. You can make your home feel lighter, more tranquil, and more pleasurable by carefully getting rid of things that aren't needed. Begin modestly. This week, pick only one area to tidy. Which household item have you been hoarding for an extended period of time? Comment in the 19 section. Having too many small decor pieces can clutter tables and shelves. While tiny figurines, picture frames, and vases may look beautiful when placed one at a time, too many of them can make a room appear cluttered rather than attractive. Why it's an issue? It produces a cluttered, disorganized appearance rather than a neat, deliberate aesthetic. Makes cleaning and dusting more challenging. Can give the impression that a space is more visually overwhelming than welcoming. The solution: pick your favorites. Only the items that suit your current style and make you happy should be kept. Group things together on purpose. For a more unified appearance, group decorations in clusters of 3 to 5 pieces rather than strewing them all over the place. Change according to the season. To keep things interesting without taking up too much room in your room, store certain decorations and replace them every few months. Make use of vertical space. Keepsakes can be displayed on floating shelves or shadow boxes, which also free up table surfaces. At one point, my friend Linda's living room bookcases held more than 50 little collectibles. She saved the remainder, keeping only 10 of her favorites. She loves her decorations even more now that her house is tasteful and clutter-free. Decluttering tip: take a new look at your room from the doorway. It may be time to simplify if there is too much going on and your eye is unable to focus. Look around. In your home, how many of these 19 clutter-causing factors are present? Clutter consumes energy in addition to space. The good news, though? It's not necessary to take on everything at once. Begin modestly. Make a change today by choosing one table, one drawer, or one shelf. With each small step, you'll be astounded with how much lighter and calmer your house feels. For more easy and efficient ways to design a home that supports your greatest life, please hit like and subscribe if this video was helpful. What are you going to declutter first? Leave a comment below. Tell me about your plans, please.